think I'm recording. Hey guys. So today I'm going to be talking about the Princess Diaries 2, the Royal Engagement, and how it builds on 7 of the essential elements of the 8. So let's start with the society defined. So the society defined in Princess Diaries 2 is Genovia. And the conflict that this society provides is that Genovia is a country ruled by monarchy. And the law states that in order for a princess to become a queen, she has to be married. So this creates tension between Princess Mia, our heroine, and Prince Nicholas, our hero, because Princess Mia is the next in line to become queen. But we find out in the movie that there's another person who can potentially be the next in line to rule Genovia, and that's Prince Nicholas. And so, because, as we're going to see later on in the slide, and if you're watching the movie, Prince Nicholas chooses to actually, try to take the throne away from Princess Mia, it prevents their love from growing. So in this picture, I just have the castle and the town of Genovia, just to give you guys a glimpse of what that looks like. Okay, so the meeting between Princess Mia and Prince Nicholas, there's 2 of them. The first meeting is when Prince Nicholas identifies as just plain Nicholas. And it happens at Princess Mia's birthday party, and they're dancing. When they really first meet, when she steps on his toe accidentally. But they really start engaging with one another when they start dancing. And I'm gonna show you guys a clip.
Believe you me, we've seen a lot of mornings.
Stupid.
And eating the small bits of cheese stuck to a McDonald's wrapper is the right way to start a morning. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Your timing is impeccable, thank you.
You're welcome, Your Highness.
Mia. I like to be called Mia. And you are?
Nicholas. Just Nicholas.
Well, I'm very glad to see that my clumsiness hasn't affected your dancing. I'm sorry I stepped on your foot.
You can step on my foot anytime.
So as you can see in the video, naturally, like, it just flows, like, with them, like, the attraction, the entrance, the flirting, all of that, it just flows. And you can obviously see, like, they are attracted to each other, and that Prince Nicholas just identifies as regular smuggler Nicholas. In their second meeting, Prince Nicholas identifies as Lord Devereux. And Lord Devereux is the person who's trying to take the throne away from Mia. And so, as you can see in the video, once I play it.
Your Majesty. Your Highness.
Avery?
May I introduce my nephew, Lord Nicholas Devereux?
Mia's shocked, like, completely, because she never would have thought that Nicholas, the guy she danced with and flirted with at her birthday party, would be the one trying to take the throne away from her. But that's it to me. So this leads to the barrier. So there's really 3 barriers that prevent Princess Mia and Prince Nicholas' love from growing. The first barrier is obviously the fact that Lord Devereux wants to take the throne away from Princess Mia. The second is his uncle. And his uncle is a barrier on his own, because towards the end of the movie, Prince Nicholas has a change of heart. He decides that, you know what, Princess Mia is really worthy of becoming queen, and I really don't want to take that away from her. And he began to grow really fond of her, and he realized that, she deserves that, and he didn't want to take that away from her. But his uncle continued to want him to take the throne for his own personal selfish ways. And then the third barrier is Lord Jacoby. Lord Jacoby is Princess Mia's arranged husband. She decides to have an arranged marriage because she has to get married in 30 days, and ain't nobody gonna find love in 30 days, y'all. So she just decides to have an arranged marriage so she can become queen. Okay. So moving on, the attraction really like I said before, it starts initially when they dance, but it's a break. It has a break in the attraction once Princess Mia realizes who Nicholas actually is, Lord Devereaux. But the attraction continues in two ways. It continues artificially because Nicholas's uncle devises a plan to get Princess Mia to basically not be able to become queen. And how he does that is he persuades Nicholas to romance her. To get her to see that she's making a mistake, that she really doesn't want to marry Jacoby because it's not love. And she'll miss out on true love if she decides to have this arranged marriage. So that's how the artificial love starts to grow. I'm going to show you clips of that artificial love.
Are you having second thoughts?
No, actually, on the contrary. I was just admiring my ring. It was Andrew's grandmother's. Oh, you know, he really is so romantic.
And the scene at the bottom of this video is when they're at the water fountain, and it was really a social event for Princess Mia to get to know the people of Genovia, to persuade them that she's really fit to be their queen. And they end up running off, which they do a lot in the movie. Mia kind of blindly, like, she doesn't realize what she's doing. Like, she's really naive to say she is grown, because she's like 21. To say she's 21, even though that's still young, like, she's really naive. And so they run off together or whatever, and they're bickering and stuff, and they're playing this like my horse is bigger than your horse kind of thing. And they end up stopping at this water fountain, and Nicholas ends up coming on to her, and she's like, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to get me to not, become queen. But she falls into it because she's attracted to him, and they end up kissing, and they end up falling in the water fountain. The difference, though, I'm going to show you guys the genuine attraction first before I really talk about the difference between the two attractions, so you guys can see that for yourselves.
I haven't danced with you since your birthday.
That's a fact. It's not a secret.
The secret is that I still want to.
Love me tender, love me sweet. Never let me go.
Okay, so the difference between the artificial and genuine love is that when Prince Nicholas tries to romance Princess Mia because of what his uncle said, you can tell that it's really not really forced, but that it's really not like I'm actually like in love with you or like you. It's more like I'm trying to seduce you kind of thing. Just by the way he walks up the stairs, just by the percussion in the background, it's just really, it's kind of, it's animalistic really. And that's, I think, the best word to describe the attraction, the artificial attraction between the two. But the genuine attraction is really, it's romantic. Just like in the picture below, you can really see, like if you look into their eyes, you can really tell that they really love each other. And I put this picture in the middle because this scene in particular is really like the bridge between the artificial love and the genuine love. This picture is from the parade scene where Princess Mia stops the parade and goes to the orphanage because she sees a little girl getting picked on by some little boys, and it reminds her of her past, because in high school she was picked on as well. And so she goes to this orphanage and she talks to the girl, and she says she confronts the guys, and she's like, I seen you guys picking with her or whatever. They're all like, oh, I didn't know she would see that, and they walk away and they're embarrassed and stuff. But she ends up letting the kids join the parade, and she says, hey, yeah, let's be princesses for the day, and the guys can come too. You guys, we always need more princes. And it's really charming, and it's really beautiful, and Prince Nicholas really admires her for that. And that's really the turning point when he really starts to see that Princess Mia has a lot of good qualities, and she can actually be a really good queen for Genovia. Moving on. The point of ritual death. So as Prince Nicholas continues to try to romance Mia, it starts to become more genuine, and they eventually actually start falling in love. So there comes a point when Prince Nicholas realizes that I don't want to be king anymore. I want Princess Nia Mia to have that, and that's really when you can tell that he really like has fallen in love with her. So he says that to her, and he says, you know, I'm packing up my things and all that, and they have their moment, and then the movie continues to play, and he does this really cute like mimic off of Romeo and Juliet, and he comes to her window, and he does this little riddle thing, and you know she jumps down the window and they run off together. And they end up, like you saw in the last clip, them dancing and stuff. That was like kind of like the little picnic or whatever, and they end up spending the night under the tree. And I'm going to show you the video before I spoil it. And she sees a cameraman when she wakes up.
With a video camera?
And that's when all the love, all the trust, everything that they built really falls apart. Because, you know, when they first met, she was under the impression that he was just really attractive, sweet guy. And then she realizes who he actually is, a person trying to take a throne away from her. So obviously, you know, off the bat, she's like, okay, I can't trust this guy. I don't like this guy, you know. But like as their attraction starts to grow, you know, she starts to become more comfortable with him. And in this scene, she really grew very fond of him and really started to trust him tremendously. And when she notices this cameraman, it's like everything that ever happened is just like, wow, like it's a waste, and she's just done with it, and she runs off. But you guys see that she runs off with this horse.
Mia,
You know, it's really a shame you didn't get juicier stuff last night, you jerk!
Mia, I have nothing to do with this, I swear. Mia, please, come on. Will you listen to me? That is not my boat.
Hey, Nicholas, have a nice life.
But that is my horse, Mia.
So it turns out that Nicholas really didn't hire the cameraman. And Princess Mia doesn't realize that until her wedding day, when she's about to get married to Prince Jacob. So Joe, which is Princess Mia's grandmother, Clarice's bodyguard, Joe lets her know that Prince Nicholas didn't set her up. And at that moment, that's really when you can see that Princess Mia still loves Prince Nicholas. And at that moment, she knows in her heart that she cannot get married, and she ends up running off. And her grandmother finds her and tells her, "Hey, you don't have to do this. You don't have to get married. You don't have to make the same mistake I made a long time ago." And she decides not to get married, and so she makes a proposal to the councilman at the wedding to basically annihilate the law that a woman has to get married. And it's about to go forward, except Prince Nicholas' uncle shows up and is all like, "Oh no, they can't do that," and you know, just being selfish and just trying to basically get Prince Nicholas to become king. But Prince Nicholas shows up and he says, "You know what? I don't want to be king. I refuse to be king. Princess Mia needs to be your queen. She's deserving. She's worthy." And in this picture right here is when he's saying like, and just think of how beautiful she'll look on the, I think one of the bills, or the coin. Oh no, the postage stamp. The postage stamp. And that's when you really realize that Prince Nicholas is really who Mia needs to be with. He's really a good person. And he's really worthy of her love. And finally, not finally. Oh no, I skipped ahead. Not finally, almost finally, the declaration. So it's kind of weird because Prince Nicholas doesn't actually tell Mia that he loves her until the end of the movie, until she's about to get coronated and to actually become the queen. Like her coronation is about to happen. And this is a picture of the scene where he gets on his knees and he says, "I'm inquiring. I'm in love with the queen, and I'm inquiring if she loves me as well." And this ties into why I said that there are really 7 essential elements that are incorporated in this movie and not 8, because there's really no true engagement in the movie. Even though he gets on his knees, he doesn't say, "Will you marry me?" He just says that he's in love with her. But it could still be considered an engagement because he gets on his knees and he ends up saying her name. He says Mia, but it's like the way he says it, it's like in a question form, if that makes sense. I really wish I could have found a clip for you guys, but I couldn't find a clip of it. But he says Mia, and she stops him and says yes. So it's kind of like, there's no formal engagement, but you could consider that an engagement. I don't know if there's a Princess Diary 3, but maybe there will be one day, and maybe they will get married. But that's all I have for my presentation. And that was Princess Diaries 2 Royal Engagement, and how it built on incorporated 7 of the 8 essential elements of a romance novel.